Hello, my name is David. This is video number 2 on my transition. Not much has changed since the last video, but I did get a shitload more questions, so I'm going to be answering those. Before we get started on that though, there are 2 things that I want to improve from the last video. First one, I don't think I mentioned the date at all in the video. I also didn't mention how long I had been on tea, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that right now. The last video was made on January 30th, and I think it was day 22 or 23, not really sure. Today is... fuck, what day is it? Wednesday, February 4th. This is day 27? 27. Yeah, because I'm taking my next shot tomorrow, so tomorrow will be 4 weeks on tea. And the other thing that I need to do improve a lot on the last video was I really had no idea what the fuck I was talking about. I just kind of made it up as I went. So today I'm kind of using like a script. I went through all the questions that I got and I wrote them all down and kind of put them in an order to answer them. So let's go ahead and get started. First question comes from Sam. She asks, do your kids understand the changes that you're going through? My kids are really little. Damien is 3 today. Actually, his birthday is today. And Coralie will be 2 in a few months. So they really don't understand anything right now. I mean, they really don't even know how to not shit themselves. So I don't really think they even have a concept of gender at this point. Really, all they know is that they have 2 dads. Which is gonna make the where do babies come from conversation really interesting. Second question is also from Sam, and she asks, what processes do you go through every day to feel comfortable with how you look, and has it gotten easier for you? Well, it used to be I would spend a lot of time... Okay. I'm just gonna say this right up front. I am really, really vain. And it's not so much that I really care what other people think of me. I mean, I really don't. I used to a lot, actually, but now I kind of don't. You know, as long as I think I'm attractive, everybody else can go fuck themselves. Although there have been a lot of people telling me that I am unfairly attractive, which is really encouraging. But honestly, guys, don't stroke my ego. I really don't need it, and that's a goddamn lie. Please continue. But I used to spend a lot of time on my physical appearance. Before I started tea, I used to spend hours, like, trimming my hair and styling it and trying to get it to look right and, like, staring at my face and trying to figure out what was wrong with it and what I didn't like about it. I used to spend an ungodly amount of time trying to pick out, you know, just the right shirt so that it was big enough that it would hide my breasts, but not so big that it would swallow me and make me look like I'm even younger than I actually look. Which is even younger than I actually am. So I used to spend a lot of time on it, and I used to have this really big, long, drawn-out process before I would even leave my house, and it was so time-consuming I actually almost never left my house. Now, not so much. Now I pretty much just roll out of bed and I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, what's up? You doing anything later? So I used to have a process. I don't really anymore. So I could say, yeah, it's definitely gotten a lot easier for me. Next question is from Dexter. Said, well, it's not really a question. Talk about what it's like to record yourself and hear your voice in recordings. Well, I did share that video on my Facebook from like a year ago, from before I even started testosterone, and that was painful for me to watch. And even the last video that I just made was actually kind of a little cringy because, I mean, I know nobody really hears their voice the way everybody else hears it, and there's like some kind of scientific reason behind that. I don't really know what it is. I know I remember reading it somewhere. But even to me, like, in my own head, my voice sounds deeper than the way it sounds right now with me speaking, and I know the way I'm speaking right now is going to sound deeper than the way it's going to sound to me when I'm listening to it and recording. So it's kind of cringy, but at the same time, just hearing the difference, the change from a year ago to what was it, a week ago or a few days ago, I don't remember how long ago it was that I made that, is really kind of encouraging. I'm actually really excited about it. So I kind of have mixed feelings. Next question is from Sam. She asks, what bodily changes have you gone through and what more are you expecting to go through in the near future? Now, I've already talked about this a bit. Obviously, there's my voice. A couple other things. My face has gotten more masculine. My hairline has started receding, which is not a bad thing. I don't know if you can see it or not. It's like I got like these little fuzzies right here on the side of my head. And the reason for that is the female hairline is curved, while the male hairline is like kind of square. So when you start testosterone, you lose a little bit of your hair in the corners so that you have more of a masculine hairline, and that's made my face look more masculine. And there's also the weight redistribution. Another thing that testosterone does is it redistributes the fat on your body from where it would be on a female body to where it would be on a male body. So like my cheeks have gotten thinner, my neck has gotten fatter, my thighs, my hips, and my ass are all like migrating to my belly, so I now have this beer gut that I didn't know I had, and I kind of should probably do something about. But these are all gradual changes that are all gonna, continue for the next couple of years, and that's really about it. I mean, there's really not much else that's gonna be changing. I'm gonna be getting some facial hair, but right now it's all patchy and shit, and I don't really care for it too much. I don't really know what I'm gonna do with it when I actually grow it in, because I don't want to go full beard. I know. I'm not going to look good with a full beard, but I want facial hair. But I'm not really sure how I want to do it. Probably just going to end up changing the style of my facial hair about as often as I change my hair color. So, the next question comes from Liz. And she says, talk about passing as you become less womanly and more manly. How are people treating you out in public? I hope this isn't a rude question. That's really not a rude question, or at least not for me. It is. I can't speak for the whole trans community, obviously, but to me that's not really a rude question. The wording is a little weird. The words feminine and masculine probably would have been better. But I'm not really going to put a limit on how rude you can be before I don't answer your question. I won't answer any question that you shoot my way, regardless of how rude it is. I mean, I will tell you, like, okay, that question might be a little rude to actually ask somebody in person, but I will go ahead and answer every question that you ask me. And about passing, it's a lot easier now for me. It's not 100% still. It's like a 50-50 chance of being misgendered now. But I mean, I have much narrower hips now, so I have a more masculine body, and obviously my face has become more masculine, my voice has dropped a bit. I do get confused for like a 16-17-year-old boy, which is a little upsetting, but I can get over that. It's better than being confused for a woman. But yeah, it's about 50-50 now, and it's probably the reason I felt more comfortable leaving my house. It's a lot better than the 95% chance of being misgendered it was before I started T. So, the next question is from Alex, and she says, sing a song anyway? And no. I mean, maybe. I don't know, I might. I'm not really sure. I might actually end up singing for you guys. I'm not really 100% comfortable with my voice yet. It has definitely gotten easier for me to handle, but my singing voice is still incredibly feminine, so I will probably not be singing for you guys until I get a little more comfortable with my singing voice. The next several questions are all kind of weird and abstract and kind of hard to explain, so I'm gonna kind of read them off and then answer them all at once. My mom asked, at what point did you realize you were the wrong gender, and what was your aha moment when you understood why you were so uncomfortable? And then Iva asked, what were your struggles before you told anyone about your gender change? And then she asked, what were your struggles when people found out? And Sam asked, have people treated you differently since you came out? And then, have people treated you differently since you've begun transitioning? Iva asked, what were your struggles during your transformation? What was your family's reaction? And then Sam asked, has your family handled it well? And then, how has yours and Carl's relationship changed? Starting with Mom's question, I don't honestly remember much of my childhood at all. In fact, I really can't really remember anything before the age of 12. It's all kind of blank. It actually kind of hurts to try and remember it. Like, I actually get headaches trying to think about anything before the age of 12. So I really don't know when I first started noticing that there maybe was something wrong with me. But I do know that by the age of 12, I was already feeling very uncomfortable in my body. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way I sounded. I didn't recognize my face in the mirror. I didn't recognize myself in pictures. And I felt wrong. Like, I felt like I was born wrong. Like, there was just something inherently wrong with me. And it wasn't until I was about 18 before I even came across the term transgender. Before then, I had absolutely no idea it was possible to even be born trans. The idea had never been introduced to me. And it wasn't, it's like something resonated with me, but it wasn't like, aha, that's what this is. I was just kind of fascinated by it at first. And I started reading more about it, and I started researching and like looking up articles, and I was kind of, part of myself was asking me, why am I reading this? Why am I so interested? Why is this so fascinating to me? And it just, the more I learned, the more it slowly started to dawn on me that maybe this is what my problem is. Maybe this is why I'm so uncomfortable. And really the only person I confided this to was Carl. And this was about when I was 18, 19 years old. It was right around the time I got pregnant with Damien. And so that, for the first like 4 years, I had this internal struggle with myself that at first I really didn't even want to accept my own transness. I didn't really want to admit to myself that maybe that's what was wrong. And then once I started to, I got pregnant, and it was like, who's gonna believe me? Now, I wanted kids, and I wanted my own kids, and it was something that I was capable of doing, but who could I tell that would believe me when I was pregnant? And then, you know, of course, I got pregnant with Coralie right after that, and I was so fucking pissed. You have no idea how fucking pissed off I was. Oh my god. I mean, it was a sacrifice I was willing to make, and it's definitely worth it, but that is something I definitely should never have had to do. I didn't want to have to give birth. But, God, I was not a happy pregnant person either. But yeah, for the first, you know, like, anywhere between 2 or 4 years, it was just this internal struggle of not wanting to accept myself. And then once I did, being afraid to tell anyone because I was afraid of being invalidated. I was afraid of being told that what I was feeling wasn't right, wasn't real. And then when I did finally confess to a few of my friends, some of them were great about it. Some of them did ask me, are you sure this is what's wrong with you? Are you sure you're not just imagining it? And that was a really incredibly painful time in my life. But then, you know, as I continued, as I pursued, and I insisted that, yes, this is me, it got a little easier. I mean, I lost some friends, but they were really friends. I mean, if they weren't going to accept me for who I was, I don't want them in my life anyway. I made some new friends, some incredible new friends that are really amazingly accepting and awesome. And, you know, there's people that stuck by me through this whole thing. Some of them are been real fucking champs about it. Like, Markeisha, dude, you're fucking awesome. Especially since I didn't even talk to you for like 3 years. And that wasn't your fault. I want you to know that. That was me fighting with myself over this whole issue and of accepting who I was and being afraid to tell anybody. And then after that, after I started testosterone, it's been like a downhill slope from there. It's just like fucking riding a roller coaster. It's really kind of exhilarating and really very liberating, honestly. And then the final question, Sam, how has yours and Carl's relationship changed? It really hasn't. I mean, I knew very early on that I was not straight. I didn't know what I was. I wasn't aware of the term bisexual. And then when I learned it, I was like, this doesn't feel right. And then I learned the term pansexual. It's kind of seeing a pattern here. And Carl, when I, finally felt comfortable telling Carl about my sexuality, he was like, yeah, me too. And, it just kind of worked out perfectly. I really couldn't have asked for better, honestly. Then the final question of the day is from Melissa. Melissa asks, what was/is the hardest part of this whole transition? The hardest part has definitely been relearning who I am. Because I spent the vast majority of my life pretending to be somebody I'm not. And I got so accustomed to playing this role that I really don't know who I am. I have started learning that, and I really, really like who I am. I'm kind of full of myself. That's another thing I've learned. But yeah, that's definitely the hardest part, is trying to rediscover myself and introduce myself to me, I guess, and sort of conveying that to other people, like, this is who I am. Like, I know you have this idea of who I was, but that wasn't me. That was me pretending. And so that has definitely been the hardest part of this whole thing. That's all the questions I have today. Well, it's not all the questions I have. That's all the questions I'm going to be answering today. I do have quite a few more questions that I've gotten since I wrote these down. But I will be answering them in the next video, along with any other questions that you shoot my way. I do have to, please leave the comments, or leave the questions in the comment section of the video, because I really don't want to have to go all over my Facebook and all through my messages to find all the questions that you guys have asked me. So please try and keep them in one place, or at least two places, like the comment section of this video and like the comments on the link that I'm going to be sharing on my Facebook. But yeah, just please keep asking questions, because that's what's driving this whole thing. And it really doesn't even have to be about the transition. I really just want to have these videos as a way of documenting, the way my body is changing, the way my face is changing, the way my voice is changing. So as long as I'm talking about something on camera, it doesn't have to be about my transition. As long as I'm talking about something, I'm documenting my transition. So yeah, just ask me any questions. It really doesn't have to be about the transition. It can be about anything. It can be about, completely arbitrary shit. So that's all I have for you today. This video is almost 20 minutes long. Holy shit. Sorry for keeping you so long. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.